Welcome to the Online Success Journey podcast, your opportunity to discover and learn from entrepreneurs like yourself. This is not your typical podcast, but a place where you can get the real story and find out how real people encounter speed bumps and detours, but journey through to find success. Now here's your host for the Online Success Journey podcast, Patience.
Hello everyone and welcome to Online Success Journey. This is episode 158. Are you ready to join the clan? Today we have David Moadel, a coach, investor, content creator, writer, editor, and a consultant. He seeks to establish long-term working associations, serving clients and audiences, providing constant outstanding services, benefiting all stakeholders. Hello, David.
Hello, Patience. I am a fan of yours and of your podcast and your program, so thank you so much for having me on today.
Thank you for coming. I know the clan here is anxious to hear your story, so let's get started with the basics. Can you tell my clan a little bit about your background, about what you did before you started your own online business?
Absolutely. I was a school teacher. I used to teach fifth grade here in sunny Florida, and that's 10 and 11 years old, the students. And so I really had a great time being a school teacher. I did that for many years, and then I taught high school and college. But then I moved into finance. I wanted to help people become more self-sufficient. I want to help people have financial freedom. And I also got involved in social media. I have a very popular YouTube channel called Looking at the Markets, and people are welcome to check that out on YouTube. And also, I've been approached by many websites and newsletters wanting me to become part of the team. Well, I chose to become part of the team at PortfolioWealthGlobal.com, mainly because they are the number one ranked free financial newsletter. They've made amazing calls. If you subscribe to PortfolioWealthGlobal.com, go on the homepage, check out the newsletter. This is a newsletter that called Ethereum at $15, Litecoin at $25, Dash at $35, Cardano at around 4 cents. It's amazing. And this is a website and a newsletter that was founded by Tom Beck, a multimillionaire at age 33 in the real estate markets. I believe what he believes, which is the government is getting too big around the world and also here in the United States, and people really need to invest for themselves, not believe what the central banks are telling them, not believing what the analysts are telling them. Invest for themselves and get access to the best research out there, which Patience, you are part of that research for me. You're a resource for me. And so I want people to listen to Patience and the podcast, and I want people to check out my website as well and avail themselves of the research so they can make their own decisions.
What a journey. Okay, right. What is the most dangerous belief an online entrepreneur can have?
Oh, my goodness. The belief that you don't need to research your own finances. You don't need to research your own investments, that you're just going to hand over your hard-earned money to somebody else, whether it's thinking that the government is going to take care of you, believing that Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, pension funds, 401ks are going to carry you into your golden years, your retirement. That's a big promise by the government. And I'm not picking on any particular government, not just in the United States, but worldwide. This is a promise from the government that is going to fail and has failed. And believing that, well, I'll just take my money and give it to Bank of America or Wells Fargo or Merrill Lynch. I'll just walk in and give it to an investment advisor and he'll know what to do with my money. Well, most investment advisors, most of these fund managers, 80% of them underperform the S&P 500, and they'll charge you 1 to 2% of your money per year to do worse than the overall markets, than the S&P 500. That is a very dangerous belief that people have that they're just going to let somebody else take care of them. And so that's why Tom Beck, the chief researcher at portfoliowealthglobal.com, puts out this newsletter. That's why I'm part of the newsletter, so that people can sign up. It's free, and they can get the best research out there and really think for themselves. That's what I want people to do.
I know you care about people, but why do you do what you do, David?
I do what I do. As I told you before, as I told your audience, I'm a former school teacher, elementary school, young kids. I've also taught high school and college, but I really had a passion for teaching those children. They are the future. And I've always had a passion for educating people, for helping people, but not helping people just to help them, helping people so they can help themselves. I'm sure you know, Patience, and I'm sure your audience knows the old saying, which is, if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for one day. If you teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. And so I like to empower people with the tools that they need to invest for themselves, to think for themselves, to build their own financial future.
Okay, let's put man aside because you've been in business for the last 10 years. How do you know you are successful?
As soon as I started on my journey, which was back when I was a teenager, back when I was about 18 or so, my father introduced me to the world of finance and investing. And I know we want to get away from finance and investing, but it's part of what I do. He taught me the basic principles. My father is turning 84 very soon, 84 years old, believe it or not. Yeah. And, he taught me when I was much younger some basic principles that I've been following for a lifetime. Things that Warren Buffett, the world's greatest investor, things that he believes in. Also, I knew that I would be successful when I got my first teaching certificate back in my 20s, when I first became an educator, at least, in a professional way. I knew that I could become a teacher. I knew that I could help people, again, to help themselves. I knew that I could empower the next generation of young kids who are now adults. They're now in college. They're now in the workforce. And, I have not kept up with all my fifth graders as they grew up, but although I do sometimes try to look them up on Facebook and see how they're doing. But I can't keep up with all of them, but I hope they're all doing well. I hope they're all being successful. I knew that by becoming a teacher, I could really change the world. And now I'm a teacher in a different way, and I'm still trying to change the world one investor at a time.
Can anyone be an investor, or are some people more cut off for it than others?
Yeah, anybody can be an investor. Anybody can get involved in it. What I want to tell people about some free reports I've got, just so they can get a taste of my investing style, which is not just to hold on to cash, by the way. If you're just holding on to cash, especially the US dollar, this is something that if you just believe, well, I'll just hold on to my cash. I won't invest at all. In 2017, the US dollar fell by around 10% against the currencies of its trading partners. If you look at the chart of the US dollar, it's just been going down and down and down over the years. So that's not a way to go. I want people to check out a report that we've got. Again, it's free of charge. It's at portfoliowealthglobal.com/cash flow, CASHFLOW, cash flow. I want people to check that out. Find out for themselves why they really need to get better yield. For example, 12% yield. In that report, Tom Beck tells people how they can outperform the markets and get that good yield instead of just hiding their money in cash, because that's no way to go. It's really dangerous to do that. Bonds are no better. The promise of the central banks, of the government, that people can just buy U.S. treasuries, government bonds, and they'll be fine. No, that is a promise that has been broken by the government as Jerome Powell and the Fed are hiking rates. Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve here in the United States, just announced that, or actually implied very strongly that there will be 4 rate hikes this year, not 3. And so what that does, whenever he hikes rates, if you own bonds, the value of those bonds is going down when that happens. I'm sure your audience is sophisticated. I'm sure they know that whenever they raise the yields, the value of the bonds themselves goes down. So again, people trusting the government, trusting other people to, with their money, that they're going to take care of you. Don't believe that. Get some research. Find some great research. Do your own due diligence. And think for yourself. That's the message I want to give to people more than anything else. Think for yourselves.
Okay, we are now beginners. How can we create an investment plan while avoiding risks?
Well, there's always going to be some risk, but you can put your hard-earned money into a diverse portfolio of many assets, many asset classes. Actually, you know what? One thing I believe in right now that I think is going to do really well, and again, there's risk in everything. I'm into AI. Do you know about AI, Patience? I'm sure you do. It is artificial intelligence. I'm telling you, it is the future. 2016 was the year of gold stocks. 2017 was the year of cryptocurrencies. I'm sure your audience knows how much Bitcoin went up in 2017. Okay. But if you're going to try to put all your assets into one thing, whether it's gold, and I love gold, whether it's all Bitcoin, and I'm fine with Bitcoin, I like cryptocurrencies, I believe 2018 is going to be the year of AI, artificial intelligence. That's machine learning, robots doing what people used to do. And yes, I know jobs are being displaced, but we can still capitalize on the artificial intelligence revolution. Patience, I've got a stock that's one of my picks. Is it okay if I reveal one of my stock picks to you right now?
Yes.
Great, and this is a freebie right here, no charge, okay? There's an IPO, an initial public offering. That's when a stock just comes out for a company. It's called Global Live Technologies. Global Live Technologies. It's an artificial intelligence company. This is my free stock pick to everybody right now. I recommend everybody check it out. It's trading in Canada on the Toronto Stock Exchange. The ticker symbol is LIVE, L-I-V-E. And I think big things are going to happen in artificial intelligence. And this is a pure AI play. If you want to get directly into artificial intelligence, jobs in the AI space, yes, you might think it's displacing jobs, but it's also creating a lot of jobs. If people ask me where the job's going to be at, what are the big industries to get into? I would say artificial intelligence is one of the big ones. And if people want more information, because I can't tell everything about the company right now, people can go to portfoliowealthglobal.com/live. That's /LIVE live to learn more about the AI revolution and how you can profit from it. I think it's going to be huge.
Okay, now we have a plan. So when do we sell, or when do we hold? How do we do that one? Because remember, we are beginners. We are not experts like you.
Right. Well, you know what? I'm only an expert because I do the research, and because Tom Beck over at portfoliowealthglobal.com, he does the research. He puts out the newsletter, and I assist with that. So what you want to do is know beforehand. First of all, you want to know beforehand when you're going to enter and why. What price are you going to get in, and always know why you're getting into any investment. If you cannot answer when am I getting in and why am I buying this company, don't buy it. Don't get into it. And that means you've done your research. You know exactly why you're buying what you're buying. Warren Buffett, the greatest investor probably in the world right now, he does so much research. He knows why he gets into everything he gets into. He's very picky, very selective, only chooses the best stocks out there. So you also want to know, after you know why you're buying what you're buying and when you're going to get in, what's a good price, you also want to know when you're going to get out. And that's something you want to know beforehand. You don't want to start thinking about that after you buy it, okay? That's not the time. No. By then it's too late, because now you're just guessing, you're hoping. That's not a plan. That's not a strategy. And if you don't know exactly these things, when to get in, when to get out, How much should I take profits? Do I want 20% profit? Do I want 50% profit? Do I only want 5% profit? You need to know these things beforehand. It's okay, by the way, to get a coach or a mentor. I help people. I have a YouTube channel called Looking at the Markets with David Moadel. Go ahead and look it up on YouTube. I've got over 400 free videos. That's right, free videos, as well as the free newsletter over at portfoliowealthglobal.com if you just sign up on the homepage. So I can help you with these things. We can help you with these things. But know where you're going, know what your profit target is, and know why you own what you own before you hit that buy button on your phone or on the computer.
Wow. Okay. How do you help your clients trade and invest profitable on their own? I thought you just hold their hands until the end, maybe for 2 seasons or 1 season. How do you do this?
You know what? Again, knowing beforehand is the key. You have to decide before you hit that buy button. How much profit do I want? You don't want to be too greedy. If you say, okay, you know what, I'm going to buy this and I'm going to demand that I make 1,000% this week. Is that realistic? Not really. I'm talking about consistent income when I talk about making profits, when I talk about knowing when to get out. If you are going to laugh at somebody who makes 5% per week, you know what, 5% per week, when you compound it, we're talking about compounding profits here. That adds up massively over time. That's how you become a millionaire and a multimillionaire with the 3% a week, 5% a week, taking profits. So you have to look at the chart of a stock and you have to research the stock's fundamentals, decide, is this a big mover or is it something that's a little bit safer? If you buy Coca-Cola stock, if you buy McDonald's stock, you're not going to make as much money because it's safer. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with buying these safety stocks, as I call them. If you buy some gold, if you buy some silver, they're not going to move 1,000% in a year, most likely. Not likely to happen, okay? And so you want to mix it up a little bit. Buy some gold, okay, if you want to. Buy some silver, sure, if you want to. Buy some McDonald's and Disney stock and Coca-Cola stock. That's safe if you want to. Nothing wrong with that. But you also probably want to mix it up. We talked about diversifying your portfolio. Get some big movers. I talked about LIVE, Global Live. I talked about that stock. Again, portfoliowealthglobal.com/live if you want to learn more about that. I believe that's going to be a big mover. You can find stocks that are big movers, and yes, those are riskier, but if you only buy the safety stocks, you're not going to make those big returns. So have some big movers, have some safety stocks, mix it up. That's how you diversify your portfolio. That's how you win in the long term.
Okay. David, why do you focus on limiting risks instead of only focusing on making a quick profit?
Because going for those quick profits all the time, that's how you make the quick losses, not the quick profits. Because something that can go up 1,000% in a year can also go down a lot in a year. And so if you're trying to hit a home run, grand slam every time you go up to bat, you're going to strike out a lot. So yes, you try to hit some home runs, but you want to protect yourself because not every investment you make is going to go up. Some are going to go down. That's the name of the game. If you're a beginner in investing and you have the fantasy that everything that you get into is going to go up 1,000%, man, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. You're going to be in for a big surprise, and it's not a good one. So diversify once again. Yes, you can get into the gold. You can get into the silver. How do you do it? Actually, we have another free report on that. We've got tons of free reports over at Portfolio Wealth Global. Check it out, portfoliowealthglobal.com/gold playbook. That's /gold playbook, GOLDPLAYBOOK. Check it out. We can show you ways, and this is free, by the way. This is all free of charge. We can show you ways, if you sign up, download the report, ways you can get into gold, ways you can get into precious metals that are safer than some of the, I'm telling you, some people are going to tell you about stocks. You're going to read newsletters. You're going to go into chat rooms. They're going to try to pump their stocks, but you got to get the research. Know what you own. That's what I say. So get the good gold and the silver, get all the good stocks in there, get some precious metals, get some, yeah, sure, get some safety stocks. You can get your McDonald's and your Coca-Cola and all those good stocks that have been around for a long time. But you also want to diversify into other areas, whether it's gold, whether it's silver, whether it's artificial intelligence, whatever it is, have a wide variety, and you should be okay over the long term.
Okay. What have you learned from business as a whole?
Man, I've learned so many amazing lessons. When my father first taught me those basic principles when I was a teenager about how to get into finance safely, because look, I was a kid. I was probably 18 when I first started into finance, and I wanted to buy all the big movers. I wanted to buy all those little companies that I thought were going to go up, thousands of percentage points in a few weeks. I was in the fantasy phase. Well, you want to get out of the fantasy phase. That was a huge lesson for me. And my father, I'll tell you, he was alive during the Great Depression when the United States stock market went down 86%. It was horrendous. He lived through that. He lived through the terrible United States bear market of the 1970s. He was investing in 1987 when the Dow Jones went down 22.6% in one day. He survived all of that, as well as 2008 when things went really haywire with the Great Recession. He survived all that. He learned lessons. He learned hard lessons about how to protect yourself and why you need to, because those were horrendous, horrendous times. Yes, we've had a bull market, the global bull market, the United States bull market. The stock market has gone up for 9 years so far, just pretty much straight up since 2009. If you think it's going to still be like that forever, man, you're going to learn some tough lessons. Diversify your portfolio, find ways to make it safer now before it's too late. If I had to pass on one lesson to people, that's it. Do your research, yes, and protect yourself now, not later.
You are a coach now. Do you have a coach yourself or a mentor yourself, apart from your dad?
Apart from my dad, he's my number one mentor. I still call him every week, asking him for advisement, because he is my rock. And you got to have a rock in your life. You got to have a coach. You got to have a mentor. It could be me. It could be Tom Beck over at Portfolio Wealth Global. He's one of my mentors. He writes those reports, and I get to read them before most people do. I have a little bit of a first advantage there. But we don't play favorites. As soon as he writes them, we put that thing out. And so that's another mentor, Warren Buffett. I don't know him personally, but hey, maybe someday. He's still alive and doing quite well for himself. He's one of those guys that does heavy research. Okay, he has enough money that he can actually hop on a plane and go visit the factory when he invests in a company. All right, maybe you and I don't have that kind of money and time where we can get on a plane and visit the factory. All right, that's fine. But what we can do is we have the internet. And because there's so much free information on the internet, there's no excuse anymore not to do your research, not to do your due diligence. Do the research, folks. Think for yourself. Like I said, don't just hand over your money to an investment manager somewhere and just assume that they have your best interests in mind. Don't just assume the government and the central banks have your best interests in mind, because guess what? They probably don't. So research, research, research. That's what it's all about.
What is the most valuable thing your mentor, who's your dad, has told you?
Prepare for the tough times. There's going to be rough weather ahead. Bull markets don't last forever. Good times in the markets don't last forever. We've had euphoria pretty much continuously. Yeah, there was a bump in the road in 2011, but pretty much continuously since 2009, we have had markets that have just gone up, up, and away with very little let up, hardly a break. You got to protect yourself. And by the time things start to get bad, but by the time you start thinking about, should I get out of the markets now because things are horrible? It's too late. Your portfolio is already down 50%, 80%, whatever it is. And now you can't even find people to sell your stocks to, hardly, because everybody's selling. So start finding ways to protect yourself now. I talked about portfoliowealthglobal.com/gold playbook. We'll tell you ways to get into gold, ways to get into gold stocks, so you're not just invested in the S&P 500 or the Dow or the NASDAQ. You've got diversification in your portfolio. I told you about Portfolio Wealth Global /live, so you can get into other artificial intelligence, things that are the future, things that are not just the indexes, the S&Ps, the Qs, the Dow. You're moving away from that somewhat so you can get into other areas, so that when things do get haywire, at least you have a number of uncorrelated assets in your portfolio, and you'll be more protected than if you just went straight S&P 500. And because when things get bad, then, like my dad taught me, you better be protected now, not later. That's the main lesson that I learned.
What is one thing no one knows about you?
Oh, man, I want people to know that I really do care. I really am here to help you. I have a lot of opinions. I'm very opinionated, and I'm not afraid to tell people my opinions. Patience, I think you figured that out by now. But that's okay. I want people to know that if they have questions for me, you know what? I'll even give out my email address now. It is davidmoadel@gmail.com. That's DavidMoadel@gmail.com. If you have questions for me, if you want some assistance, if you want me to tell you more about Portfolio Wealth Global, if you want more ideas on what I'm doing with my allocations, I cannot tell people what to do. Look, I'm not an investment advisor. I'm not licensed or registered as an investment advisor. None of this that we're saying today is investment advice. It's just informational and for educational purposes. I cannot tell people what to do or what not to do with their finances. But I could tell people what I'm doing with my hard-earned capital. I could tell people what Tom Beck's doing. I can tell people maybe even, some of my father's principles that he passed on down to me, and I'm passing on down to other people. I want people to know that I'm here to spread the information. I'm here to let people know what's available out there so they can make their own decisions. Once again, teaching people to fish so they can eat for a lifetime.
Okay. About the Portfolio Wealth Global, anyone can join?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking. And first of all, let me say, if you're not subscribed to Patience's channel, if you're not subscribed to her program, subscribe right now. Okay, check back regularly with Patience, because she has amazing information week after week, month after month, year after year. Keep checking back, and then when you're done subscribing to Patience, subscribe, get on portfoliowealthglobal.com, get the free newsletter, get the gold playbook, /gold playbook, get a /live. I mentioned all those. And also, if you want access to all of the reports, all of them at once, if you go to portfoliowealthglobal.com /money, that's /money, you can get access to all the free reports. There's so many on there, so much research. It's for everybody. We're not into charging people a lot of money, or any money actually, for these reports and for the newsletter. We'd rather give it away for free. That way anybody can get it, no matter where you are in the world. If you have access to the internet, if you're listening to this right now, you probably do, then get on the website, check back. We always have new stuff for you to check out.
And we can contact you directly on your YouTube and your other site, anywhere else we can catch up with you?
Absolutely. You can just check it out on YouTube. Go on there, go to the search box, type in David Moadel, DavidMoadel, and you'll find Looking at the Markets with David Moadel, over 400 free videos. Lots of education there. And go ahead and hit me up on email if you want more information, davidmoadel@gmail.com. I'm also on Twitter, the usual, at David Moadel on Twitter. I'm on StockTwits, Facebook, LinkedIn. You'll find me. It's not hard to do.
Wow. Thank you. So, Clan, there will be more from David in a moment. If you are listening on one of the many podcast platforms rather than my website, and you are encouraged by Dave's journey, go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for a bonus portion of the interview. The Online Success Journey is a wonderful membership community built for people searching for the path to success. We are one big clan, and you can be part of this community for free. Once you have joined the clan, click on part 2 of Dave's journey or over 100 other journeys that are available, and learn how you can find the right path for your own online success journey. That's a wrap, clan. Remember, success is a journey. Patience and David.
This is not the end of the journey. We hope you've enjoyed listening to part 1 and want to be sure you know there is a second part to this and every journey podcast at onlinesuccessjourney.com, filled with even more success tips, uplifting stories, and even a bit of fun. There are dozens of episodes only available to the members of the Online Success Journey clan. Check out the website and click on Join the Clan for more information. Patience would like to thank you for listening to this podcast, and she has a free audio gift for you at her website. Go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for instant access to this gift. Of course, you know that listening to the journeys of others helps each of us chart our own path, so make sure you're subscribed to be notified as each new interview is posted. There are so many ways to stay connected to the Online Success Journey and to listen in. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we appreciate your help in telling others. One of the best ways to share the benefit you get is to rate and review it at Stitcher and other sites by clicking the stars or completing the ratings form, by clicking thumbs up and leaving a comment on YouTube, or liking and sharing the podcast on social media. To review the podcast within iTunes, simply open iTunes to the podcast, click on Ratings and Reviews, then write a review. On behalf of Patience, and until next time, thanks once more for listening. It is our hope that this podcast will guide you on your own online success journey.